Good morning, everybody. Nostalgia is a game I'm not very good at. Songs and music, I reminisce, wax nostalgic, sometimes even become slightly tearful. And sometimes over people and pets. Yeah, things that to me are important, I'll get nostalgic. But when it comes to, nostalgia over American industry, boy, it ain't there. But I'm finding myself recalling a day when we trusted American products to be some of the best on earth. Anybody out there old enough to remember that? Yeah. Buy American. Boy, we made some of the best stuff, and we did make some really good stuff here. Yeah, after World War II, the Japanese stuff has started coming in here as a considered junk. Oh my goodness. But now, today, Japan is standard excellence for quality in the world. Oh, then there was Korean junk coming in, and I'm still not sold, but I see that the Kia has become one of the major vehicles on the road here in Hawaii, around Puna. Somebody trusts them. My brother worked for him, and so on. Well, now it comes to American industry, as I say, there was a time when we really made a bang-up product in this country, but I'm sorry. It appears the days are over. Shrinkflation, of course, is a news article these days because everything is getting smaller. When I had to loan Kevin $6 for a can of Starbucks coffee the other day, after I told him, hey, I'll make a whole pot for you for free. Then it come to realize that Starbucks has even shrunk the can. Everything is getting smaller. Did they think we kind of didn't notice? That, it all gets smaller. They won't notice a thing. They'll pay more for it. Yeah. Well, I'm afraid America's going to be pretty dumb, but we're not that dumb. Then, of course, the economy and inflation, being an election season, is big time on everybody's mind, and whether it was an election or not, it's costing us more, and that's not good either. But, I've been through inflations before. We usually survive them. As far as the shrinkflation's concerned, there ain't no way that anything is as big as it once was, except for the giant big gulp of Coke that you really shouldn't be consuming, probably. Well, it hit me hard. It just hit me so hard the other day. It had to do with Mauna Loa MacNut Company. Mauna Loa MacNuts, historically, in my book, I have consumed their product for years, and I always considered them pretty good rating. Yeah, if I was to throw out a scale, the original Mauna Loa MacNut Company, I'd say it's at least an 8 on a 1 to 10 as far as the quality of their products and so on. It was pretty good. Now, Hamakua MacNut was always better. If there was anybody here who does get a 9.5 to a 10, it's them, but their product tends to be fairly expensive compared to Mauna Loa's. Well, Mauna Loa eventually sold the company. It was locally owned. They sold it to Hershey, and when Hershey picked it up, quality dropped a little, but the standards were okay. Product was still edible. It wasn't too bad. I'd maybe lowered it to a 7. Okay. But I still consumed them. They were fine. Well, then Hershey sold the company. And I went over to Hawaiian Host, which is a locally owned company. And I said, that's good. It's going back to local hands. Well, that wasn't good. I don't have answers for why this is all happening, but Mauna Loa, which used to make a fairly decent product, no longer produces an edible product, period. I would warn people not to try to consume their stuff. I was 2 bags in a row here of the honey roasted macadamia nut. First nut out of the bag tasted like a sugar-coated rat turd. Oof. Ah, God. I could barely get myself to go into the bag. Now, it's not unusual that on occasion you'll get an off-flavored nut. Now, with the best brands, you don't much. But Mauna Loa, there was always a few off-flavored nuts in a bag. You put up with it. The price was lower. But now it's like every 6 nuts, I think, out of the bag were rancid. They were terrible. If they weren't rancid, they were just off-flavored. The nuts were broken pieces, small, half nuts, almost no whole nuts in the bag. But the major problem was the taste. I mean, it was awful. Yeah, it was awful. Could not be eaten. I never could finish the bags. And I'm mad about it because we paid price for the stuff, and it's not edible. Mauna Loa's Mac nuts used to always be edible. So I called the company on the little number on the bag, Nobody answers. I get an answering machine over at Hawaiian Host. All right, I leave them a message. No response. A week goes by. No response. Try again. Leave them a message. Same message. Your nuts are rancid. You owe me. No response. So after another week, I tried the number one more time. This time I made contact with somebody at Mauna Loa, probably here by Hilo, who was very sympathetic and listening to me and all this, and basically informed me that, well, he would just have to pass the information upstairs and somebody else would have to deal with the issue, but he's listening, and I told him straight out, I said, you guys owe me. You burned me. Those nuts were not edible. In fact, they tasted so bad they might be dangerous. Okay. So, nothing. Yeah, it's 2 weeks gone by since I made that phone call. No response. This morning, I turned him over to the Better Business Bureau. I'm really angry about this stuff. It's one thing that the quality dropped, but when I complain about the quality, they ought to do something about it, And so at this point, I have no recourse other than turn them over to the Better Business Bureau for bad business practices, but to cease ever eating their product again. That's simple. Yeah, and this isn't the only place. I mean, well, I don't eat cold cuts, all right? But Safeway over here, I do believe, does sell Boar's Head. And Boar's Head has killed people with their Braunschweiger and I don't know what else, and they've sickened so many others. Now, luckily, I don't eat Braunschweiger, all right? There was a time I did. I don't anymore. And I don't recall ever having eaten Boar's Head brand, but this is a major national brand, and the quality has declined to such an extent that they're killing people with the product. This was supposed to be food, even restaurants. I go over and I decide to try out Luquin's in Hilo, Mexican. I've eaten in the Pahoa one for years. Friends with the owners. It was, it's all right. Home-style Mexican. Nothing special about Luquin's, but it's edible food. Well, I went into the Hilo one. I ordered steak burrito, and I got a burrito that was 90% beans, sloppy beans. Refried, a couple of pieces of some kind of cow in there someplace, but so I complained about it. Guess what? They did nothing. I'll never go back. Ever. That's sad too, because I always liked the one in Pahoa, and I'll still go there, but I'll never enter the one in Hilo again. I don't know. Everything seems to be getting smaller. It's getting more expensive. But the quality is the biggest problem. the quality of the great American products has begun to decline into just utter and complete garbage. My Chevy Bolt, which I really love, 28,000 miles. The electronic steering rack went out on the thing. Chevy won't cover it. 28,000 miles. Manufacturing defect. Well, my fault. Currently, I'm on the list of I will never buy another Chevrolet again as long as I live. Chevy won't do anything about it. I happened to have been off warranty when it went by a few months. Robot vacuum. It's a $1,000 machine. The first one was insane, and the customer service behind it was also quite insane. I won't go into the details. I got a video on that one. They finally did make good. They made good. iRobot made good. I sold all my stock in their company, and I'll never buy it again, but they did make good. They sent us a new robot, and it has been working fine. Yeah, so I've got some satisfaction there, but well, I haven't got much more to moan about in that regard, so I guess I'll cut it right there. But if anybody else out there seems to be having trouble with the quality, the quantity we know about and the price, but what about the quality of American products? In your opinion, does it seem to be declining? Because, boy, I'm sure seeing it. I'm not seeing it across the board. It's not everything. Some things still holding that fine standard of quality that was normal for this country, but man, a lot of it's just going to garbage. Can't trust it anymore. Wake up, industry. Wake up, America, because every time you burn me, I'll never go back. Sorry. Gracie says, come on, Bill. We gonna edit? Huh? Where we going? Yeah, that's a good girl. Yeah, such a good kitty cat. Oh, look at you. Oh. Aren't you beautiful, huh? Well, Gracie says the cat food's still in pretty good shape. Yeah, she ain't had a bad piece yet. The pet food's okay. The Braunschweiger will kill you, but the cat food's alright. Aloha.